Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to my channel and thanks for joining me for another video. This is Marquita from AtHomeWithQuita and here I share tips on how to plan a balanced life. So if you're new here, I hope you'll consider subscribing. Sometimes you run into situations where you just run out of space in your planner and you just need some solutions on what you can do to expand that space. So that way you can track all of the things you want to track in your planner. So today I'm going to share with you 10 solutions for when you run out of space in your planner. So let's get into it. So there's only so much space that you have in your planner and sometimes it's just not enough for you. And you just need to know what you could do to still keep using that planner for whatever reason. Maybe you like the layout, you like the look of it, the size is perfect for you because you don't want to lug around this big old planner, but you may run out of space and you just need some tips on what you could do to expand the space. So that's what I'm going to be sharing with you today. The first thing is probably going to be the quickest and easiest option for you, and that is to use sticky notes. So here are some of my favorite sticky notes that I like to use to expand the space in my planner, and I use various ones depending on what I'm trying to track. And so let's say that you have some appointments, you have a ton of appointments that day, and you just need to be able to track them, but this space isn't big enough for you, but you love the layout once again. So you could take a sticky note like this, and then you can simply just grab your sticky note, place it wherever you want to place it. Of course, it is going to cover up whatever it is written in your planner because that's just how that goes. But when you lift it up, of course, you'll be able to see underneath it and you can see all of the things that you need to see that still need to be written on the page, but you just needed to expand to be able to track more appointments. So let's say you just had a super busy day and you had a lot of errands to run, then this would be the perfect solution for you to be able to track something like that. You could also take multiple sticky notes. It doesn't have to be already pre-written. It could be a sticky note like this that doesn't have anything written on it. Let's say you need to title it however you need to title it. You could use something like this, pop it in. Also, you could take a notes page maybe at the end of your planner or pop in a piece of paper and you could just literally attach sticky notes to that page, title it whatever you want to title it, and then you could go ahead and write in whatever that is that you need to write in. Maybe it's your meal plan, maybe it's your grocery list, maybe it's just a task list. You just need to be able to expand more than what is included on this page because it's just 2 pages and you're just really busy that day or that week. And so sticky notes is a great way to do that. So that is the first way, pretty self-explanatory. We have tons of sticky notes that are titled, that are not titled, available at Fancy Plans Co. So if you are looking to expand your space using sticky notes, we definitely have you covered. So these are some of my favorites. So let's say you have a ton of goals for that week. You could use something like this, pop it in your planner to track your goals. Let's say you have some habits you want to track. These are great for that. And so you could take that and pop it in here. And again, you could lift it up and still be able to see what is written on your page. So use those sticky notes. They are a great option for expanding space in your planner. The next way is to just grab a notebook. So there are some times where you just have too much to write in your planner, and a notebook is a great option for that, especially if it's not like actual appointments and things like that. You just need to add some reference items. A notebook is a great option it's not really expanding space in your planner, but maybe it's a companion notebook for you. So you kind of, walk around with a planner and a notebook. And I think that that's still a great option. It's not super bulky. So this is kind of how that would look. You'd have your planner here, and then this is just your reference notebook. So these are your 2 planners, if you will. So that way this one is kind of for like overflow items. You need to just write in, maybe it's ideas, again, reference items. You can write all of that in your notebook here, and then you can keep all of your planning items separate from this, but you're going to carry it around together. Or maybe you want to make some lists. So you'll need some pages for list making. Also, maybe you have some goals you want to write in. Doesn't quite fit in your planner. Maybe some projects. So it's a great idea to use a separate notebook, even for budgeting. if you just want to use a notebook specifically for that, or you just want to have an all-in-one notebook for all of those just overflow items that don't quite fit in your planner. So that's another way to expand your planning, is by using a separate notebook. My next suggestion is to consolidate. So let's say you have habits that you want to track. Now I use the dashboard layout, so I am able to track my habits here in this section. But let's say you're using a week on one or a week on two that doesn't quite fit the habits that you want to track, but you do want to track your habits. Again, we do have a sticky note for that. But the second thing that you want to consider is to consolidate. So you may not be able to write it within your planner pages, but you can stick in a half sheet and track your habits that way. Or you could stick in, a notepad sheet like this, and so that could track your habits. But I would definitely just pop in a separate sheet of paper, and that's going to open up your space options, or a pre-printed habit tracker. You can stick that in your planner. That way you can track your habits. The same goes for bill pay. So let's say, you want to track your bills within your week, but you just don't have the space to write it. Put in a bill tracker separate page within your planner and track all your bills that way. And also, when it comes to your monthly planning, I do like to keep my bills on my monthly layout as well, but the boxes are so small. As you can see, you only have a limited amount of space to be able to write in all of the things you need to write in. So instead of writing out what exactly that bill is, and taking up a ton of real estate by writing it in, maybe just pop a little dot on there, so that way you know that the dot represents that there's a bill due that day, and then you can break it down in your weekly spread. So try to consolidate that information as much as possible, because you just don't have that much space to work with, and try using stickers and more creative ways to just indicate that there's a bill due, or whatever is on that day, a errand, a habit, a routine, a task. Use as something to represent that, so that way you can consolidate as much as possible when you're trying to make space. The second thing is to stop duplicating everything. Now, I do duplicate a lot. So from my monthly to weeklies, I do write in some of the same information, and week to week, it pretty much stays standard with the exception of my weekly calendar here. Some stuff is routine, but then other stuff isn't, of course. So again, if you don't have enough space, you're not going to be able to do that. You're going to have to stop writing things that are due on the monthly view, and then again on the weekly view. And also, you could apply the same thing that I mentioned before, just using a little dot sticker to represent whatever that task is, and maybe make a key so that you know that, and just keep it, within your planner somewhere, so that way you know what that dot represents. And that's another huge way to save space. I don't tend to run out of space in my planner. But if I do, again, I apply some of these methods that I'm telling you today. But there are some of you who just have a super jam-packed day, and you just need to be able to expand. I also recommend maybe having a larger size planner. I know sometimes we get so set on the size and we just really, really love it. But if you're finding that you don't have enough space continually, then it may be time to explore another size as well. But I would definitely say to stop duplicating every single item from your monthly spread to your weekly spread if you just don't have the space available. Another cool little trick is to use washi tape flaps. I think that's what they're called. So basically how that works is you would take either a sheet of paper, sticky note, something like this. You would put it wherever you want to put it in your planner, and then you would take a little bit of washi like this, and you would pin the washi to the page like that. So that way, what it acts as is like a little flap of information. It's still on your spread. You can still lift it up to see what's going on underneath, but you've got some extra space. As you can see, this opens up a lot of space. You could use both sides if you want, but you still have all your information underneath. It's stuck here, it's secure here, and you're able to write in some additional information. So this is a great option as well. This one everybody knows about, whiteout. Okay, so there are some times on the monthly spread in particular, even sometimes on the weekly, depending on the layout that you have, where some information is just not needed. For me, I don't need the holidays. I use an undated planner, but if I did use a dated planner and it had all of this was filled with holidays, that takes up space. And so you're just going to simply take your whiteout and just white that out. So go all the way through your planner and just see, hey, what do I need? What don't I need? And grab your favorite favorite whiteout and just take your whiteout and go to town, whiting out all of that space, and that's going to make a ton of extra space for you. And so keep what you need and then white out what you don't need. The next thing, and I think I kind of hit on this earlier, is to add another page in your planner. So I love adding half sheets. I keep them in the back of my planner so that way I have them available to me. But if I needed some additional space just to write in a list or just track something, I would take a page like this and then I would pop it right on in my planner. And as you can see, it opens up a ton more space for me. And so I could write in a list of things that I need to come from the grocery store. I can write in some bills that are due. I can write in anything, habits that I need to track. Maybe just the reminders of things I want to do, people's anniversaries, anything like that could go on this page. I love half sheets in particular because I feel like with half sheets, you can still see your other side of your spread visible to you. And sometimes I'll even size down, like this is a mini or skinny mini, a mini half sheet, but it's technically classified as a skinny mini size. And so sometimes I'll do like that because it gives me enough space to write in, but it also doesn't take up so much of my planner, because a typical half sheet for half letter would come here. And so sometimes I'll do that as well, and that'll still give me what I need to be able to write in plans, but then it doesn't take up so much of the view of my spread. So pop in a half sheet or even a full page, and sometimes I'll take the full page and I'll fold it in half. It just depends on what I need to track and how much space I need, but I'll fold it in half and pop it in my planner, and it'll kind of act as a half sheet, even though it's a full page. So pop in some additional paper, especially if you're having a disc bound system. All of the ways that I'm mentioning to you is universal for any planner. So, well, with the exception of like things like this, popping in additional inserts, you may not be able to do that in certain planner systems. But this hack, of course, you could put that in a coiled planner or a bound planner. But certain things you're just not going to be able to do without having the disc bound system or a ring bound system. So you have to consider that as well. Maybe you need to switch up your system. Okay, so pop in some more pages, and that's definitely going to expand how much space that you have to work with. Another way to give yourself some additional space is to stop planning so many different things. Only plan the essential things. And again, grab that notebook like I showed you earlier and write in your reference stuff in the notebook. So if you find that it's just you're writing every little single thing down in your planner that doesn't need to be in your planner, or maybe you need an hourly planner. So consider that as well. Or maybe you need a daily planner because what you're using is not working for the amount of items that you need to write in your planner. Also, maybe just grab a to-do list and don't even use a planner like this. Just have like a to-do list notebook and write in all of the tasks there. So just try different things because that may help. Maybe also time blocking. So you'll really have to consider the layout that you're using as well to see if maybe you just need to try a different layout because you just have so many different tasks that need to be done and you just need a different style of planner to plan for those items. So you just may be planning too much and that takes a lot of time too. So really sit down and assess, take a week and really assess what you're planning for and see if all of that is needed. Next is to try using different layouts. So I'm using the dashboard layout here and we kind of touched on it just a little bit. Okay, so that gives me my week here on one page and then also gives me another section here to be able to write in some random things. But try maybe a different layout to see if that works for you. And then my business and social media, I use this vertical line layout because this just is the way my brain works when it comes to business and social media planning. So this gives me a list style of planning. So maybe that's something that you may need versus whatever you're using right now. And then we also have several other layouts. We have about 18 layouts in our shop that will allow you to plan according to, you know, what's going to work best for you. But maybe this sort of layout works. Maybe a horizontal layout works better for you. Maybe you need a one-page layout and you want a notes page on the other side, or maybe you need a 2-page weekly layout. It's just all up to you. And we're trying to figure out why you don't have enough space because you're running out of space. So again, we're just exploring some different options to adding space. And I think that considering the layout is one of those things that you have to really look into to see if the layout you have is not working. And sometimes when it comes to vertical layouts, there's just not enough space there to be able to write in all of your tasks that you need to write in a box. So explore some other layouts to see if maybe the switch up is exactly what you need to be able to have a little bit more space. And last, try to find planners that have smaller line spacing. So I think most planners tend to have about a 0.25 inch line spacing. And so maybe you need a tighter line space. Maybe this is too much in between, and giving you an additional line in between these two lines would give you, of course, 2 more additional spaces. So there are planners out there that specifically have smaller line spacing. And so that way it is going to expand the amount of space that you have to work with as well. So try to find a planner that has smaller line spaces, and that should help you to be able to have a little bit more additional space to work with. So that is it. Those are all of my suggestions for being able to expand your planner. Again, the monthly planner only has a certain amount of space to work with. And if you find that you're running out of space, then you're definitely going to want to implement some of the things that I mentioned along with the weekly spread. If you feel like in your weekly planner it's still pretty tight and you need to figure out what you could do to maximize and really be able to write in all of the things, and you find that you're not able to, then try applying some of the suggestions that I mentioned today in this video and see if that will help you to be able to really open up that space so that way you can fit everything that you need to fit. So that is it for this video. I hope that you guys got a little bit of inspiration. I know it's pretty short and sweet. Sometimes I do these really super quick tip videos, and sometimes my videos are lengthy and I'm talking you through things and it just warrants a longer video. This one didn't, but I definitely wanted to come in and mention those things to you because I find that that is a problem for a lot of people. I listen to and read everything that you guys send, and I try to do videos based on what you guys are asking me. And so this was one of those things. So hopefully you got some inspiration. These tips helped, which means you'll give me a thumbs up on this video. If you're new here, I hope you'll consider subscribing. And as always, I hope you guys will come back and catch another video, in which case I'll see you then.